Growing Up on a Farm in Kentucky. Stories by Stan Schmidt. Episode 25. First Bike, Part 1.
We never really had much money. We wore the same old jeans and white t-shirt and jeans and high-top shoes, leather, which lasted for years until your feet outgrew them. And then you passed them on to your brother, who was younger. And he tried to wear them out. They were tough. So we had some grade school friends. We went to grade school. We would walk to grade school. It was a half a mile away. The center of Jeffersontown was a half a mile from our house, and we could walk up there. If you could find a dime or a nickel would get you at the drugstore. You could get a single dip of ice cream, and a dime you could get a double dip. So we would walk over there a lot in the afternoon for ice cream. And that's one thing that hasn't changed about Jeffersontown. The same buildings are still there, and next to the drugstore was a door that went up to the dentist's office above the drugstore, and he was Dr. Bryant, and he was the one that tortured your teeth. And I was there recently, now 50-some years later, and I noticed that door is still there with the same name on it as a dentist up there, probably his son or grandson pulling people's teeth up there in the same building. Some things don't change and other things change a lot. The whole area's changed, but that hasn't changed at all. And my brothers noticed the same thing. My father would sometimes pay us, and then one time he came and said, "I can't afford to pay you anymore, so you'll just have to work for your food and be satisfied with it. Your food and your clothes and your place to live." Made sense to us, so we just kept working. But I noticed some kids had bicycles. And I'm like, how did they get their bicycles? I guess you got to get some money, but didn't have any money, so there was one little small farm near us, probably about 10 acres, and there was a big house on it, and the Rookrickles lived there, and we knew them because they were in our classes in grade school, and they had about 10 or 12 kids, and they were always a lot of fun to go over there and spend the night with them. When I was walking around on their place one time, I noticed a big junk pile in a sinkhole. That's where everybody used to throw their junk in those days, right where the water ran down and came out in the springs, and you drank it. That's where you threw all your junk, so it all got washed through the water you drank. Anyways, there was a lot of fencing in there and rusty stuff and metal, and I pulled out a bicycle frame. Oh, wow, I thought this was a big discovery. But then I remember what I was taught in grade school by the nuns: "Thou shalt not steal." And I felt like, if I take this, I'll be stealing. It had rims but no tires. It was all rusty, but I couldn't resist. I said, they don't want it. They threw it in this big pile of rust. So I took it. Wasn't that far to the cow barn from that spot. And then I took it to their workbench and shined it all up. I thought, I could paint this and it would look pretty good. So I got out there was a can of paint in the barn. It was called Chinese Red. It was kind of between orange and red, kind of a reddish orange. And I painted the whole frame, and it looked really nice. And I thought, all I need is some tires. So eventually, I saved up enough money to buy 2 tires and tubes and put them on the bike and put a little bell on it. And I still remember climbing up on that bike and rolling down the hill in front of the house and feeling so great that I had a bike. And of course, all my brothers wanted to ride on it. But I thought, nope, this one's mine. It was probably the first thing I owned myself. And I started to realize that, if you use a little skill, you could accumulate things in life. And We didn't have any shame in pulling things out of the garbage. It just never thought that would be looked down upon by anybody in the world. We just thought it was great.